You cover the spiritual side.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2026. Time now is 7 p.m. We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh. Okay, well, we're going to begin with public comment. Hello.
Hello.
If you would to just state your name and your address so we know who you are for the record.
Absolutely. Hello, my name is Rebecca Greenlee. I live at 27 Elizabeth Street in Bethel, Connecticut. I've lived here for 2 years and I just love it here. It's wonderful. So I just am here to provide public comment on the appointment to the Library Board of Directors that will be occurring this evening. I am just so beyond honored that my name was submitted for recommendation and consideration of this position. As you may hear a little bit in my accent that I'm not from Connecticut or the Northeast. I was raised in the Midwest, and that's a place where, serving people, serving your community, serving your country is a deeply, deeply important thing that is rooted in how we are brought up. And so while my vision unfortunately disqualified me from following in the military footsteps of my brothers and uncles and grandfathers, I found that another patriotic way to serve my country and my community members was through librarianship. Because a really important aspect of constitutional rights in the United States is the First Amendment, of course, freedom of speech. Well, what is freedom of speech if you don't have the freedom to receive speech? And so that is the core tenet that libraries are based upon. And so I grew up going to Andrew Carnegie libraries, which are so beautiful. And so throughout my career, I've been working with libraries and in libraries since 2007. So we're about 19 years now. It's a long time. My time in libraries can vote. And I have had the honor of working in all manner of different libraries, academic libraries, public libraries, prison libraries, law libraries. And it has been so wonderful to experience everything. And so I just would really like to underscore in my recommendation, actually not sure if it's in the recommendation, but my vast experience in not only management and supervision of extraordinary large numbers of employees in college. When I was working for the libraries, I was in charge of managing the world's largest engineering library, Granger Engineering Library at the University of Illinois, with over 40 student assistants. I was in charge of special collections and special projects, such as downsizing smaller libraries to bring into the larger library collection. I have managed budgets of libraries. I have been in charge of collection development, library acquisitions. And something that is not discussed a lot, but is also very important, has been policy development and making sure that the policies for utilizing the library, utilizing library space are airtight and done in such a manner that they not only serve the constituents and patrons of the library, but also serve to protect the library and its collections and its space as well. And so I just wanted to thank you all so much for the honor and consideration of my recommendation that you have provided, that time that you've invested. It truly is one of the greatest honors to have been given a chance to serve this community in a way that I am uniquely equipped and qualified to serve. And I really do truly see it as the most patriotic thing that I individually am able to do. So that's my public comment. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, first up, we have the consideration of the approval of the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes. I would accept a motion for approval.
Sorry, you have correspondence.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, I gotta get that. I'm right by it. As you may remember, beginning of each year, we read a message to all the elected boards. It's the FOI meeting policy, so I'm just gonna read through this very quickly. While in a meeting is a session, the following protocols should be followed. Personal devices should not be used to communicate through any means, including text message, email, instant message, social media post, or conversation. And an exception will be made if the device is being used as part of a meeting session, i.e. a member is participating in the meeting via phone conference. If there's a need to communicate regarding personal business during the meeting, the member should excuse him or herself from the meeting and exit the meeting room, or request the chair to move for a meeting recess. Any conversations by members or questions should be addressed to and through the chair. Talking, asking another member a question, or whispering any comments to another member should not take place. At public meetings, the public generally expects that the business being conducted is public business. Pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, as amended, the public has a right to know what the public officials say at public meetings on topics related to the public's business, unless such statements are made during a proper executive session or otherwise exempt from disclosure under the FOI Act. Failure to adhere to the business of the meeting and or the aforementioned protocols could subject public officials to an FOI request, requiring the disclosure of information that may be sensitive or inappropriate for public knowledge. In addition, a subsequent proceeding could be commenced with the FOI Commission, which may result in significant expenditure of time and resources, a fine, Board or Commission actions being set aside, etc. Thank you, and please keep the above in all mind at all times when you participate in Board or Commission meeting. Dan Lee Carter, First Selectman. Well, got that out of the way. Thank you. All right. Now we have meetings before us from the regular meeting of January 6, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay. Any discussion? See none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and motion carries. Reports. Okay, so I'm actually going to go through a little bit of a report here tonight because we just had a couple of things through. And as you both know, I sent you information that we had a accident of Route 6. There was an officer who was traveling, I guess I'll say eastbound on Route 6. Another vehicle was coming westbound, turned in front of the officer of all people, and it was pretty much a head-on crash. Both the occupant of the vehicle, who was not wearing a seatbelt, and the officer both went to get checked out. My understanding, both are okay. Our officer did not come to work today, but it was just a day to kind of relax. And I've seen the car camera. Looks pretty clear that the person turned in front of the officer. I don't know that any tickets or anything have been given, but I just wanted to know they're okay. Traffic car is going to be totaled. It was pretty clear that, so that will be probably coming up here soon. Of course, that happened once before with one paramedic vehicles. We actually had a pretty decent settlement from Kerma, so I'm expecting we'll have insurance money when that happens. Those who may have read the update, the municipal center pipes under the north wing are in really bad shape. We had one spring leak. The way it's centered down there, that was an add-on to the building, and there's basically like we'll say a crawl space that goes through with all the pipes. Really bad shape. They were rusting from the outside in. It sprung a leak, and it was interesting because it was becoming very humid down there as more and more water came in. But it's to the point that we really had to come in and actually replace a good section of that pipe. It's pretty bad. So I don't know what the outcome is going to be financially yet. We did have to rent the big outside heaters. I don't know if you've seen in the back. We've got them all vented inside. The folks from Board of Ed, most of them either working remote, some are working here, but not many. Senior center's closed for the week. So I expect this to be a pretty big thing. They're just going to do everything they can do now. There's another pipe that they're going to go take out that's about to burst. So they're going to do that. And then I imagine this summer, we're probably going to have to take a more deeper look at, you know. One of the things that the plumber said is they noticed that some of the air conditioning drains were porting right into that area too. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in this building like that that we're gonna have to go through and make sure we're working correctly. So want to let you know that. We did get an email regarding it was kind of a big thing, and I just wanted to bring it up. And I got a number of emails about it. It was copied to the PD, but there was a posting with respect to comments made on one of our local pages. I'm missing one piece. So there it is. Basically it was, I'll just read the post. It was something to the effect, hey, liberals, watch out, or excuse me, be careful what you wish for. If you say an ICE agent deserved to get hit because he wouldn't get out of the way, you are giving everyone the green light to drive through your protests when you refuse to get out of the street. So the folks took that as a threat. I did report to the police department. They're looking into it. So I just wanted to kind of, it was something that got a lot of attention. So I just kind of wanted to make it on public record. They were looking at that. Also, we are obviously we're doing a lot of hiring. I figured it was a good chance just to kind of remind you. So obviously we're looking for an HR director. Our HR director is out. I'm not sure if she's going to come back. She's been part-time all this time. If she does come back, we always have a place for her, but hopefully she's doing well. We've had some staff in touch with her. And I think, did she go home? She just went home from the hospital. So our prayers and everything with her. We also have the Associate Director of Environmental Services have been up for a while. The Director of Planning and Zoning, we have Tyke in there as our filling that in, but we are looking for that position. John Matz, our DPW project manager, is just taking a job over in Poughkeepsie. It's a good opportunity. So we just opened that. Assistant Town Clerk, we got active applications for that as well. Casey Galvis moved over to the Office Assistant Fire position. And then Dave McCullum, our Land Use Coordinator, took a job with the state. So we're looking, I'm working with Tyke to maybe rescope that and call it an Assistant Town Planner. And they're helping me on a job description. So I'll give you more on that in the future. And then, we've had another person leave, which is not all public yet. So at some point we'll talk about that as well. But that's where we are. I just wanted to follow up with you guys. If you recall see if I get this correct, early November, you wouldn't have been here at the time. So early November, the Board of Selectmen voted to give me the ability to go talk to the Fire Commission and we recommended to the Board of Finance for $100,000 for the fire volunteer program, incentive program. So I did go talk to the Fire Commission. They are very strict that they really just want an abatement, tax abatement. I wasn't as much for that because I wanted to find a way to structure it that it was, more for new people, something that got more, not just showing up, but actually a lot more work needs to be done to qualify. So I went back and when we went to the Board of Finance for the money, they decided they didn't want to give it to us at the time. They support it, but they wanted all the information about whatever the program's going to be. So I am working with the chiefs of the department. I forwarded them some information about doing a tax abatement program that is much more centered on having people meet certain requirements. Instead of just a number of calls, I'm recommending 2 years of service, 50% of the meetings, 5 drills, and 15% of the emergency calls, giving some credit for staffing hours. And then right now there's a longevity where they get the tax abatement. Once they reach 25 years, they get it for life. My recommendation, instead of going, by the way, this is going to the $2,000 levels, what they want to do that the state allows. I'm recommending that if they don't meet those requirements as a retiree, it's $1,000 a year. So that's kind of where we are right now. When I have something back from them, I'll bring it to the Board of Selectmen for an actual approval. Even though you guys gave me the vote to kind of negotiate, I'll bring it back for something. Just wanted to update you what we're doing. So that's it for the report. Any questions or anything? Okay. Discussion approval of Downtown Advisory Committee. So this, we had this once on our agenda already. Okay. So what you'll find in your packet, it would be the first stapled page. Yeah. and on the back, because Mary does so well about it, doing on both sides. There's the actual proposal. Now, if you recall, we have some more talking points behind that. But the idea is that EDC is looking for an opportunity to have a group of people who are downtown, business owners and people who are invested downtown, to come together and advocate for things in town. It's a little bit different than the Chamber of Commerce, because obviously the Chamber of Commerce is a membership-driven organization and it's for the whole town. There'll be things like if down the line we're going to recommend beautification planters or whatever, it would give these folks an opportunity to kind of be together and work on that. And part of it is too, they allow these different business owners and people to work together. When we spoke last time, we have 7 members on this, and there was really some concern about, I think, not having a restaurant owner or somebody like that on there. In my discussion with Janice, we talked a little bit about that, and it might be worth raising the number available and basically just saying, hey, we want a couple of restaurant owners on there as well. If that, it's the hard part is getting people to serve. Not everybody wants to be part of it. I'm in support. It's a committee, so it's advisory. There's not a lot of power. We can revisit this yearly to decide if it's something we want to do. So I don't know if you all had a chance to look at it, after the last time we were together.
Just on the side.
Yeah, which is it?
Oh, that's probably a U.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 unaffiliated and the rest are Democrats. I mean, it's not a political thing by any means, but I mean, I think these are the folks who stood up and volunteered. It's worth saying too that the minority representation is a little different on a committee. That's under state statute. So they're able, in this case, they're able to have 5 max. If we add 2 more, I'd have to look up actually what the number is.
Do we know what each of these people's involvement with downtown is?
Yeah, I can go through. So, well, Catherine Hebert is the chair of Sustainable Bethel. I think she made the list, kind of like Janice, because she has a extensive background in like the Norwalk Parking Authority and downtown, things like that. Jamie Lockwood is the owner of Greenwood Features, the movie theater. Bryce Mitchell, she is part of the home care agency right across the street behind the farmers in 155. She's a principal of that. Rainy Day Paperback, of course, is Nora O'Neill. That's up in front of Reading Roasters next to the printing shop. Adrienne Roberts is Hello Sunshine, which is right next to the toy store, next to Bird's Toy Store on the, I guess what you say, the east side of Bibb. Erin Ray, she's Obsidian Salon, which is down there. It's in the building, basically behind the Sycamore. Yeah, and of course we have Janice.
How many volunteers did they have?
This is it.
Did they put something out for people to be a part? Did they approach these people and ask them if they wanted to be a part of it?
I'd have to ask Janice. Actually, Janice is online, I believe. No, she's not. I take that. Yeah, she's at a basketball game for her daughter. I mean,
I would just be interested
Yeah.
to know was everyone given an opportunity or
did she put it out far and wide, or
yeah. I mean,
that's fair.
I think that
That's fair.
before I make a decision, I'd like to know that
Okay.
for sure.
Well, I'm perfectly comfortable with that as well. So what I recommend then is we take, Janice may come on here at the end.
Sure.
So we'll see if we can get her on. But I move it that we table the agenda item. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Oh, that's table. All right. Okay. Next up, appointments, boards and commissions. What I provided was 2 pages. These are just the ones where we have vacancies. We're not appointing necessarily all these because some of them I just wanted to highlight as vacancies. The Cable Advisory Council, I'm trying to work with Comcast to kind of reconstitute that. And right now, we have 2 people on it from Ridgefield. And it is important, it sounds like it's a very important thing, and the state law says we should have it. It says shall. So I'll be coming back eventually with folks for that. If you notice, Patricia Smithwick is highlighted. She decided to resign. Well, she didn't accept her appointment, is basically what it was. So at some point, we're going to come back and we'll need a Democrat for that. So I contacted the party. Go ahead, sir.
Didn't we remove Mary O'Leary?
Mary, and that's what we put in Pat Rist.
Right, but
I think they'd be great to put Mary O'Leary back.
if Patricia Smithwick
Yeah,
stepped down, why don't we just, I mean, because Mary wanted to stay on, right?
she did. She did. We could even just do that.
Before you do that.
Yeah.
Ask Mary if she would prefer to serve on the Commission on Aging or on the library.
She's on both.
You can be on both.
Yeah, you can be on both.
Well, yeah, I gave her that choice, actually.
Okay.
That's what, because listen, sometimes we're looking for people to serve who've been around town for a very long time. Pat Rist was one, Kate Jordan's one who's been here and involved in everything. And have, Pat Rist especially was originally, they were looking at her for the library board. This was a much better fit. And Mary O'Leary agreed, since she was on 2 boards, that she would step off of this and have a little more free time. But let's leave that to another one. Just we're waiting on whether or not Glenn Christie is going to be reappointed, and there's a vacancy, both Republican vacancies right now. Actually, the vacancy for Metfix, the one on the bottom, is the remainder of her term. That was Fran Pohl, who resigned. So that's technically the top one can go either way. I just don't think we've heard back from Glenn.
Right.
Fire, we haven't made a decision on the fire commission, so I left those highlighted. And now we get down to library. So we do have recommendation letters for Mary O'Leary, John Schmecker, Susan Morton, and Rebecca Greenlee, right?
That's great.
Gotcha. I think those are in our packet.
You want.
If you want, okay. I think, when we reviewed this, the plan was to keep Mary O'Leary, John Schmicker, and Susan Morton. And the plan was to put Kate Jordan on the library board. Now, we can certainly talk about that now that we have another candidate. Your name came forth before, and you have an incredible resume, which, I mean, right now I'd like to hire you for the library, but no. By the way, what are you doing?
Right now, I work for the Connecticut Judicial Branch.
Okay.
As a law librarian. But,
There you go.
Yeah. My service on the board, if appointed, would be completely.
No, I know, I
different
understand.
from my
I understand.
current position, but
Yeah.
I have the law library.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I mean, having possibly, obviously Kate Jordan, we've looked at for a long time. She'd shown interest for months. She approached us months ago about getting on the board, well before this ever happened. And we didn't put her on then because we had somebody else. We kind of skipped it. So I would like to go with that slate. I move that we're going to appoint Mary O'Leary, John Schmicker, Susan Morton, and Kate Jordan to the library board. You have a second?
I seconded.
Okay, comments?
Yes, now that we have somebody who is a highly experienced librarian with years of experience both in the administration and the workings of what, other than Kate having been part of the community for a long time, which I appreciate, which is extremely valuable. How do we balance one against the other?
Well, it's a good question because obviously having experience on any board is a great thing. And I could say, she is not a librarian. She's been in business and she's been on boards and commissions around our town for a very long time. And there are times where we pick people because they've been here and they've been serving, and we're looking for them to be a fresh set of eyes on a commission. We do have a lot of people on here who have extensive library background. Somebody like Sue Morton, she's the chair and does an incredible job. So I think there's a diversity of experience. It's not always like you have great experience in the library, but it's not always the experience on the board that matters too. Sometimes it's a fresh eye, sometimes it's a taxpayer's perspective. It makes it incredibly difficult that you pop up with the experience, but I think Kate has shown interest in this for a very long time, and she do a great job serving on the board. That's not to say there won't be an opportunity in the future. Any thoughts or?
Are you interested in any other boards or just the library?
So what I want to do is serve the community of Bethel in the best capacity that I am able. And, I'm aware of several of the other things that had vacancies, but at this point, I feel that my best capacity for service to this town and to this community would be on the library board of directors. For instance, you mentioned the local cable. I don't own a TV, so I would not be a good fit for that. And so I feel as I believe firmly that because I am newer to the Bethel community, that the best place for me to start is within my area of expertise, so that I can get to know the town even better through service, in which I have, a great wealth of experience. I am chair of a committee for the American Association of Law Libraries. I worked with volunteer organizations for libraries. And so I have experience in virtually every angle of the library, including taking into consideration the needs of the taxpayer and balancing a budget, and making sure that, that good decisions are being made with everyone's needs and considerations in mind, but with particular attention to the needs and interests of the patrons, which is the town of Bethel, the taxpayers.
I'll take that as a no.
True.
So yes, in short, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not at this point.
Okay.
So I have another question. Bethel, thank the stars or heavens or Bethel, has not yet been approached by book banning. It's happened in other towns. Do we know where people like Kate stand? Would she be a strong voice in opposition to book banning? Because sometimes all it has to do is come from a person with a big mouth. As you can see what happened. I'm not privy. I only know that what happened in social media because somebody mentioned it. I was dumped out of that group years ago. I was disbarred.
Penny, let me ask you a question.
So that is my question.
Are there 7 other people that you're familiar with against book banning?
Absolutely.
Then I think we're pretty safe on that size board. I know Kate Jordan, she's a very reasonable person, and I'm not going to speak for her, but I have no doubt she would do the right thing. I honestly don't know anyone who supports book banning.
I do, unfortunately.
I haven't come across.
I don't even know why. To be honest, I don't even know why I haven't heard anything about that in a while. I don't know why even this is coming up.
Because it pops up periodically,
Yeah.
and it's popped up in some of our surrounding towns, and it's a concern to me.
Sure.
I think it would be a concern to all of us. I think that's fair to say.
No, I appreciate that. So is that seat specifically reserved for a Republican, which is
Nope.
fine?
It's not.
Because if it is,
It is absolutely not. There's 8 allowed maps from one party. There are 7 Democrats on the commission.
Right.
So that wouldn't necessarily matter. Right now, there are 3 Republicans and unaffiliated in the West. This, the decision has nothing to do with party. It's just basically, we have some of the fresh perspective who've shown interest in it for a long, long time.
I make a motion, we move the question.
Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
And 1 nay. Motion carries. Okay, so the other one here, okay, so we did not appoint, there was a mistake on the sheet from before, and we did not appoint the folks to the Public Utilities Commission. So we have, I'll make a motion to reappoint Dino Gualtieri and Peter Valente to the Public Utilities Commission. By the way, Dino's a Republican and Peter's a Democrat. Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, mine's all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. And last up, if you look at the planning and zoning, I haven't gotten anything for,
So have we voted on the library board?
we just did, you moved the question.
I thought that we
You said
were,
no.
I thought that we were
Voted no.
voting on the Public Utilities Commission,
No, we were under discussion for the library board,
right? And
I move the
Right.
question.
you moved
and he
the
moved the
question.
question, which we had a motion on the table
To
in a
move-
second.
Right, but
So he basically stopped the debate.
don't we have to
Yeah.
vote on whether or not to move the question? I
Well-
thought that's what we were voting on.
Oh, to move the question. I don't
We,
believe,
we,
I don't believe the, move the question is an available motion.
I'm sorry,
No, it's okay.
we can re-vote, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with re-voting, where, I mean, if you
Yeah,
have one more
yeah,
comment
I
you
don't-
wanna make,
yeah.
I'll listen to you. I mean,
Usually move the question is, I don't think it's a debatable motion under Robert's rules. It very rarely happens, but I tell you what, we could certainly vote on moving the question. If that would make you feel more comfortable. So all in favor of moving the question on the library board?
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain.
okay. Okay, so now we are voting on the slate for the library board. Would you like to do them individually?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, so I'm making a motion that we approve Mary O'Leary, John Schmaker, Susan Morton, and Kate Jordan.
second.
Okay, here a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Sadly, I need to abstain. on this.
okay. No problem.
I'm sorry, what was
I-
that?
Abstention.
Abstention.
I would encourage you, though, to keep an eye out for a future opening on that board, because I think you did a good bet.
Me too, and I think
think
there's,
you did a very
Absolutely.
nice job
there may be one very soon.
explaining your position, and I was very impressed with your reasoning for wanting to be on the library board. So I would encourage you to stay involved and not be disheartened. This happens all the time, and 6 months from now, you might be sitting there and talking about books.
Well, thank you very much for your encouragement.
I'm potentially regretting you're coming in this evening.
Yeah. I have your information, and usually what I do is when there's interested parties, I keep a little list on the side of the board.
Okay.
So the next time a vacancy opens up, I'll call your guys' vacancy committee and I'll
Great.
give you a call.
But I would encourage you to
Yeah.
look and consider some of the other boards, because you'll gain valuable experience. And the other thing is, like on a police commission, right?
Mhm.
I was a policeman for 27 years. I never ran for the police commission
Mhm.
because it just wouldn't be appropriate. They have a chief, he runs a department. Sometimes it's great to get a fresh set of eyes, like you're saying, you don't have a TV. That may be the perfect person because, you're not biased. You don't have a TV. You can weigh opinions and information and make a decision not based on a personal bias. So I wouldn't say that you're not qualified because you don't have the background in one of the other commissions. Sometimes that's the best thing, right? It's kind of like when you're training someone. The best student is a student who's never done it before because there's no bad habits.
Brian, I'm gonna piggyback on that. I landed on planning and zoning for 6 years. I did it because somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, would you run for planning and zoning? And I said, I don't know anything about planning and zoning. And they said, you'll learn really fast. And I did. I mean, there's a ton of information that I still don't know, but I gained a wealth of knowledge. And sometimes, you know, those little things. So I don't want to lose you.
Just keep an open mind.
I appreciate your encouragement very, very much, and I take it to heart.
Don't be surprised if I reach out about the cable. Yeah. It's actually a consumer protection kind of position. It really has nothing to do with whether you have TV, but it's about access and when TV companies, you know, change channels and what's available to the public. It's kind of consumer protection. So
Yeah.
you sound like a justice person if you do the law library.
I'm just an information science person.
Okay.
But I'm a lot of things. And I think even planning and zoning sounds kind of fun.
Oh, that sounds like a volunteer to me.
Sweetheart, be careful what you say. Having a lot of fun.
Oh, this is right.
Well, you know what? You know, if you notice that they haven't picked anybody for that.
I do see that.
Okay, so next up we have so Inland Wetlands Commission. Paul Shanley resigned from the commission, so we're filling that seat. He was a Republican by charter. We got to fill it with a Republican. Kevin Seaman had run for that position and just came up short. So the RTC had recommended Kevin Seaman. So with that, I move that we appoint Kevin Seaman to the Inland Wetland Commission to replace the vacancy caused by Paul Shanley.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Approval of tax refunds.
Do we want to go back to the,
Since she's here,
since here, that way she can leave.
I kind of wanted to make her wait. Okay. So,
She's glaring at me right now, so let's move it along.
okay. So, I think I have to move. I move we take up from the table the discussion of the Downtown Advisory Committee.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Janice. So where we left off.
Being late, but they were winning 46.
Sorry. It's basketball.
My big
Who's winning?
question,
Yeah.
Janice, who's winning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Janice, my big question was this put out to all the downtown business owners or was this handpicked?
So to back it up a little bit, we had, at the beginning of 2025, we had gone out to all business owners and property owners because we were going to be an administrative accelerator program. So at that time we did, and we had a group of 6 people that stepped up for that. And so that was, we had a restaurant owner, we had 2 retailers, we had myself, we had Catherine Beaver, and I think I'm missing somebody. And so then when we decided to do this downtown advisory group, which was a suggestion of that accelerator program that we went through, Lila, who was on it, she actually sold her business to Hello Sunshine. And so she was interested in coming on board as a new business owner. We kept Nora, who was on the original group. Catherine was on the original group. And then I reached out to Bryce to see if she had interest because she is very active in the community. So she would, and she's in the service industry. And then Greenwood Features had said they were interested. And then I ran it to Erin, who's across the street at Trick or Treat. And she said, oh, I have this great idea about creating a website. And we said, well, we have this group that we may be pulling together, and that's kind of one of the first initiatives. So I have to say, I know you were talking about getting a restaurant on board. We had Chris Bruno it was extremely hard for a restaurant owner to participate at this level. But just because people aren't on the advisory group doesn't mean we're not going to be going out for their input. One of the first things we're going to be doing is putting together a survey to get a broader reach on what people want and what they want to see. So I think this advisory group is really going to be the working group, but they're going to be going out to other business owners and property owners to get their opinions on some of the things that may come up either as recommendations or prioritization of that. In 2013, we had a group, downtown advisory group, and I think there were 9 or 10 people at that time. We had one restaurant owner. I just looked at the list of 19 things that we came up with them then, and it's funny, a lot of them were kind of the same. We were able to do a lot of them. A lot of them kind of transitioned, but we had a good working group, but we always went out, we did surveys to a larger group. We asked them for feedback. So this is really going to be the working group. And these are the ones that are excited about doing it, have the time to do it. And there is a good representation outside of restaurant owners on the group between service and retail.
And you don't foresee an issue where this group is gonna take off and create like a downtown association that you have in other towns that competes with the chamber and ends up, you know, hurting local business rather
They
than.
could. I mean, we had Stonyville Four Corners, right? And it was a group of people and they had no town representation on that group or chamber representation on that group. This group is not, I'm dedicating my time to be on this group so that doesn't happen. So that we can bridge between the chamber and I mean, honestly, in my personal opinion, I hope they become a downtown focused group at some point. Chamber's it's all members. They have about 100 members. They don't represent downtown whatsoever. There's a small group of people that are downtown business or property owners that are in the chamber. The chamber is maxed out in what they can do. They do all these community events. They do business networking. Everybody's invited. They're looking across all of Bethel. They're not looking specifically at downtown. And so we went through the accelerator program. We also had Connecticut Main Street come out and do an analysis for us. And really what they push is having a focused group, whether it's a volunteer group or a nonprofit or what may be, really focusing on downtown. And we learned that in 2013 because they came up with stuff that wasn't even on our radar. That was really important. A lot of it was low-hanging fruit that we were able to do pretty quickly. So I think having a town representative on there will help bridge that. I'm also in the chamber too, so not looking to conflict in any way. It's really about looking at the stuff that we could be doing that we're not doing because we don't have the resources to do it. That's basically what it comes down to. So we did it successfully before. We were actively worked for 3 years. At that time, we went through the whole list of stuff that they wanted to get done, and then the group dismantled. So, whether this group dismantles after 2 years, or if they decide to become their own nonprofit, whatever they decide to do, believe me, just getting volunteers to do this work is hard. So it's going to take us a while to get to the point where we may or may not need, a more organized group just focusing on downtown. I mean, I would love to see Stonyville again, have something like that. Clark Park, Berkshire is a little different because it's privately owned, but we did have a Clark Park advisory at the same time, and we had a Stony Hill at the same time as well. Downtown was the most active out of all the groups, but we just had a checklist of stuff. We prioritized them, and then we kind of just ran through it. It was kind of the conduit to make sure, is this something the town should be doing? Is this part of somebody else's role? Or is this something that we have to kind of build on our own? So I'm confident that it's not going to conflict with anything else. The chamber is very well aware of, that we've had this and that we're presenting this. We will be going to the chamber and asking their opinions as well. It's just, their focus is not just downtown. My focus is not just downtown, but this will provide a focus to that downtown area, which has in our marketing studies and all of our planning documents, that's been the asset. So we need, my personal opinion is we need to focus attention on that area. And really create more collaboration amongst the businesses, which we don't really have right now. And that, if anything, I'm hoping that we'll have more collaboration amongst each other and we'll all kind of work together to do what's best for that area. So that's kind of.
I might add, you mentioned something 2 years, we should put a term of 2 years.
But as long as I can come back and say we're
course,
not done yet,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That would give us opportunity to kind of weigh in as the time comes along.
Yeah, and we have 7 members right now, but Ann and I discussed about possibly making it 9 members. We do have a film committee and we started with 7 members and now we have 3 other people that are really interested in being active. So I thought if we change the number from 7 to 9, I can try to go out and get 2 additional members. But right now we would have the 7 and I can try to recruit 2 more people to come on. But I have 7 names right
So just for clarity,
now. Yeah.
they are advisory to you and economic development.
Yeah, so basically how it worked before, and I would probably run the same process, is we would have meetings, you know, I would facilitate the meetings, I would facilitate the group. We come up with, you know, kind of our priorities. I mean, this is going to be a little different because through accelerator programs and through Connecticut Main Street analysis, basically creating branding and website was priority 1. So we'd probably be focusing on those first. And then once we're done with that, say, okay, what else do we need to do? Or maybe nothing, but you know, what are other things that are important to you that we need to start looking at? But we would focus on the branding first and then the website because I want to implement them at the same time. I wouldn't want to implement the website without the branding.
Right. Another quick question. Downtown, when people think downtown,
Yeah.
they think Greenwood Avenue.
Yes.
Does this extend over onto, there are a couple of businesses on School Street. There's a little strip thing on Elizabeth Street. You've got the depot place.
That would include it all. I think of it as Grassy Plain and Greenwood Avenue. From there, areas sweep over all the commercial to the Caribbean liquor store. So it would include all of that. Yeah. Not just Greenwood Avenue. but
No, understood.
facility.
I like the variety of businesses. I would like to see restaurants, just because, but you've got a great variety here.
Yeah, and I think there's, we lean towards newer businesses only because they just have a lot more energy, right? And we really want to create that. So getting newer businesses on was really important and really hard to do. So there is a group of new businesses. They just have the energy. They're ready to go. It's a different, talking about coming with a clearer head, right? You haven't been working in this downtown for, 20, 30 years. You're kind of coming in, you're coming from different areas. So you have more perspective on what we can do, but there's still a mix of a really long time. Yeah.
A quick question, what Erin's business, Obsidian Salon? What is
So
it?
she's across from Greenwood Features. So she's above Giggling Pig
Oh,
and the
okay.
Willows.
Okay,
She started in that small area. Now she has the whole upper
Okay.
level of it.
understood.
So it's service hair. And they have no, I just want to say, they will have no authority.
Oh,
They'll
yeah,
basically be bringing up recommendations, and then I'll bring back those recommendations to whether it be the Economic Development Commission, because it
Yeah.
falls under their purview, or if it's something larger, we
Well,
bring back to. this
And just so we understand, just kind of technically,
Yeah.
they work with the Economic Development Commission, but they're technically advisory to boards like.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and we'll require like an annual report back, just as to what they're doing.
Yep.
Okay, and how did we feel about 7 or 9? You want to stick with 7, 9, or do you want to? No,
We're up
preference,
to.
we go up to?
I think up to 9, well, I would say up to 9, this way we can start with the 7. And I know as we get started, people are gonna be like, oh, I wanna do it.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And so then we can bring on another couple.
So Melanie, one of the things I see that you wrote in this, in possible motion is, that they would be an advisory non-voting capacity. on their own committee, they can make votes within the committee, but they're not. And I just want to share from you, where's the non-voting capacity come from? Because they're advisory to us,
Yeah.
but, okay,
They can work within, I guess.
in their committee, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and,
Consensus on things.
so,
Okay.
I move that we approve the request from the Economic Development Commission to form an ad hoc committee to be named Downtown Advisory Committee, composed of members of the business community for the purpose of promoting downtown businesses, including facilitating the development and operation of a website and additional tasks as assigned by the Board of Selectmen. The Downtown Advisory Committee shall be comprised of up to 9 appointed members who serve 2-year terms and report annually to the Board of Selectmen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the advisory? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
By
Okay.
the way, don't feel like you have to stay if this is getting super boring. I'm just letting you know that. I don't want you feeling like no one's gonna be offended if you say I've
I
had
just
enough.
wanna
You-
name it, sign up volunteer.
Told you, be careful.
Very, very good. I think we already have another place where.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Yeah.
Go Wildcats.
Yes.
Hopefully you have a very happy daughter tonight.
Yes, very exciting.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
I move that we approve the tax refunds in the amount of $12,261.12 due to the overpayment of taxes. We have a second.
Can I just ask you a question? Is this something that because brand new?
Yep.
Is this something that happens every year,
Every month.
every month?
Yeah.
And how does this happen? How does this happen?
Well, I wish I had
I
followed
could,
up.
I could
Follow up.
understand, I could
Yeah,
understand if it were the other way around. We're going in.
Yeah.
I can tell you what happens. Because if you do real estate, you understand. So when the tax bills are due quarterly, and so sometimes they get paid twice. They get paid by the escrow company that's paying for the mortgage, that's holding the money. And they also paid at the closing by maybe the seller's attorney. And so there, many times is double payment. And you can't stop, you try to, because your lender wants to show that they're paid, but they haven't been paid by the escrow agent in time for the closing. So you have to produce a paid receipt. And then sometimes you end up with this double payment. It's not at all unusual.
Thank you. I mean, I get if it were the other way around.
It seems like it would be that.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Right.
like,
So,
I never get that lucky.
and just, so you know, we always, in the past, in previous administration did this quarterly.
yeah.
We do it monthly just to get people's money back in their pocket.
It's
It's pretty simple. Yeah, it's a ginormous, but Paula works out the numbers. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the, okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so next up, what we're asking for is a bid waiver on the municipal sewer capacity study. So as you know, from Public Utilities Commission, we just did the started the contract for the municipal sewer capacity update study. But when we were looking at the charter, the Public Utilities Commission does not operate totally separate. It still operates as an entity of town. So we did not do an official bid waiver. So we do need to do that. Let's see here. See, of course, anything over $50,000, public interest, public economy, the vote shall contain written statement, must be approved by the Board of Selectmen. Do you want to add anything, Camille? Because I think we've covered it on that.
I think so. I
Okay.
think it's in the motion.
Okay. Okay, so I move that we approve a bid waiver for the municipal sewer capacity upgrade study agreement between Ty and Bond and the town of Bethel, acting by its Public Utility Commission in the amount of $62,900 for the following reasons. Ty and Bond has been vetted and recommended for the project by the Public Utilities Commission. Ty and Bond performed the original sewer capacity study for the town in 2006 and subsequently provided an update to the evaluation in 2009. Ty and Bond has the necessary history and background information on the current project. Do I have a second? Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next up, the approval to create an account pursuant to Vessel Incorporated. Brad, I see you're up there. Do you want to make any comments about this?
No, good. We're setting up a separate, I will say we are setting up a separate bank account with Newtown Savings Bank to put the money in an interest-bearing account so that anything they give us, when they give us, by the time we go to do the sidewalks, it may grow a little bit. But it's just easier to have the money completely segregated in that way too.
Okay.
Can I
but-
just ask,
yeah.
Brad, I just have a quick question. Is there a time frame for those payments for for sidewalk upgrade, repair?
I know that.
That's
It's
an LDU.
there to be 10%, there's 300,000 total.
Right.
I believe it's 10% when they, for their building permit. And then the balance when they get their CO.
But there's no time frame when to spend it.
Oh, is she asking that question?
I was asking about the spending.
Oh, I've actually asked about when we
Yeah.
get it. Okay.
No, there's
I
nothing.
don't know.
Okay.
There is, it's very general. It just says that, really that they'll make this financial contribution of 300,000 to the town of Bethel to utilize for sidewalk and or pedestrian improvements, but nothing about where, how, when, or anything, which gives the town a lot of flexibility for what they want to do with it.
I was just gonna follow up and say, who makes that determination? Is that,
So it's funny, we were talking about this. I don't think we're 100% sure whether it's going to be planning and zoning or if it's going to be recommended by police commission. They're the ones who actually have oversight of traffic. At the end of the day, when it comes to the process, it's probably going to be something where planning and zoning has interest or the police commission, it goes to them, comes to us for approval, then it goes to the board of finance. Or maybe not even board of finance. I don't know, Brad?
So these would be separate funds that are outside of the general fund, so it wouldn't be under the Board of Finance, it'd be under the Board of Selectmen.
But we do need to just figure out who, it's,
It's likely, listen,
just, you know, so that
when
we
any of
can
these
let Brad
upgrades-
know
yeah, but
who's
any of
got
these-
authority.
it's going to be the board of selectmen at the end of the day, but we usually get it from, like, we can't make traffic updates or any of these. We can do sidewalks, but we can't do anything pedestrian safety. That's the police commission recommended. So it's going to be a sidewalk project of some kind, which then also needs, planning and zoning. to sign off on. So
So-
it's- there's not one committee.
So we'll just have to figure out how that mechanism works so we can tell Brad. The guy who drafted this is opinion zoning approved it, but that's just basically through planning and zoning settlement, and the 8-3G kind of sort of works that way, so that we have this sort of a special interest fund from a settlement also. But I wasn't sure, Dan, we kind of weren't sure either. We were trying to figure out the mechanism for this.
So I'm just going to put,
Ideally, it'd be nice if we could use these funds at some point as town share of a grant too. Some grants that we apply for have a town piece.
So maybe, Dan, it's, as maybe recommended to the Board of Selectmen by. So, and it's only or police or anybody could come forward and submit a request. And then the Board of Selectmen could ultimately approve it.
do we have to be specific about that?
The only reason it's just kind of nice to have some kind of mechanism so people know how to access the funds. So if you just say,
But this money is only to be used for Nashville, correct?
no,
doesn't say
it
that.
doesn't say that.
No, not necessarily.
Well,
It should be.
I mean, they're the ones who are being affected by this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
project,
just saying it's not-
and-
it's
and-
not in
and-
the
It's not
and-
specific.
In a very negative way.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not in the settlement
It's not,
specifically.
it's
that's
not
all.
in the settlement specifically.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, to Melody's point, the question is, listen, if it's sidewalks, usually it's not the planning and zoning commissions,
Yeah, well, maybe it's just a request made and
through the board of
approved
selectmen.
and approved by the Board of Selectmen. So that it leaves it open as to who may make the request.
So let me see what I try this. I move we approve the establishment of an account for depositing funds received by the town of Bethel from the settlement with Vessel Technologies Incorporated and making disbursements for sidewalk and or pedestrian improvements that are recommended to and approved by the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. You go to So I didn't hear, I'm sorry. Motion carries 100%. All right. Next up, now this is really more or less just a discussion item, just bringing it your way. Okay. So, I was approached by Danny Serinkas. I got that right this time? Serinkas?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorensen.
Serinkas.
Yeah.
He works in the library.
We
Super
need-
good.
We need
Oh,
a
super good.
brown and a David.
So in our discussions, one of the things he has a huge passion for, in addition to planning and zoning, is historic preservation with respect to planning and zoning. And, you know, interesting enough, if you think about it, two of the things that can really affect, you know, like an 830G application is wetlands and historic properties. So he had the thought of doing a historic district commission. And I fully support the concept of what we're talking about here, though, is just a study to do it. So at some point, what we would do is we would commission a group who we would think would be the obvious people to be on a commission. And they would go through and do an extensive study on, you know, how it would work, what we would do with it. And that's what you see in front of you is kind of just a list of things. And it could be something that works really well with planning and zoning. I sent a message off to Tyke, our town planner. He's had the opportunity to work with some of these commissions along the way. So I guess if it's something we decide to do, the first step would be commissioning the study. Don't have to vote on this tonight. I'm leaving this for your chance to review, right? And if you have any questions about it now, I also have I can send you all the regulations and stuff that go with it as well. But I think it would be worth really looking at deeply before we actually do a commission. Any thoughts?
It's I'm just confused, is it a historic commission?
A
study
historic
or
district commission.
district?
It's a historic district commission study. So they want to do a study and surveying and everything to find out if we should do it. Like, what are all the rules? Is it worth doing for the town of Bethel? Before they actually, you know, we would have to make a commission, but they want to do a study first, which I think is smart, very thoughtful, because one of the things I run into, like, you know, we've had people wanting to do, you know, conservation commission, cultural commission, things like that, which some of them are very valuable, but you always will be very, very picky and know everything, because in state law, there could be something that controls that. Like, we could be giving up a major amount of power for the town and not even know it. So I think doing a study is wise. So I'm going to bring it back, you know, down the line under old business, but I just wanted to make sure I could put this out and share it.
Is there a cost to doing the study?
We haven't come up with a number. I think a lot of these things, if they're surveys and things like that, the cost is somewhat de minimis, and we could do it through town resources. Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
I think it's a great idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Because every single time something came up in front of PNC, Patrick Wild was there.
Yeah.
To calm people down, saying, no, just because a building is 100 years old doesn't mean that it has the historic value.
right. And this would be I think a better way if we had it to actually
Yeah.
decide what has historic value
Absolutely.
and what doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
And listen, the truth is too, we just got to really vet it, because it's almost like having like another little permit process. So we just want to make sure whatever we establish is in line with everything we want. But I definitely think it's worth a look, especially given the way affordable housing works and all that. So,
I agree.
and at some point too, I'll run this by PNC.
Mhm.
Just like, what do you think? You know, because I don't want to do this in a vacuum, even though we have purview.
Before we do anything.
Yeah.
If I could just recommend that in some capacity, but perhaps David could be involved in this,
Oh, he brought it to the table. He would certainly be involved.
that would be great.
That is the plan. Oh,
Thank
no question. He's a smart guy, and
He is,
I like the passion for this. So,
he's a treasure.
Yeah.
And the adorable thing is that he can't.
hey, what? Oh,
Because he's not,
oh, didn't know that. Sorry.
and I mean, it's just really smart as a whip.
Okay. So next up, we actually have executive sessions for 3 items. Discussion approval of police contract, discussion of 159 Greenwood Avenue, and discussion of purchasing open space. The first, police contract is a contract negotiation covered by an exemption for FOI. The second is 159 Greenwood, which is a possible purchase, similar with the open space purchase. So they are exempt under FOI. So what I'd like to do is invite in John Shea, Brad Hearing, Mary Churchill, and our town council, Melanie O'Brien. Rebecca, I'm sorry we can't invite you on the executive
No, that's
session, but
fine.
thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for
Appreciate you.
listening to me.
Um,
It's the opportunity.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session with the invitees we mentioned. All in favor, say aye. Aye. So Mary, we are in executive session, 8:05. Will you turn off the recording?
Yes, and who seconded that, please?
I think it was Brian.
Back to the Board of Selectmen, Dan, ultimately with the contract, or we have time to do that. We might actually have a meeting after the Board of Finance. Here's my timeline. Well, what, I'm just trying to just be sure.
It would be nice to be able to have run after the Board of Finance so we can do it. I say come back around. I mean,
It'd be nice if we had the contract.
I have the ability to approve the contract. We
You're
could do
recording.
something subject to, okay. Let's do the authorization. That way I have authorization and we can figure out.
Yeah, and maybe subject to Board of Finance.
Do we want to make it like to an approval? I mean,
I'm
are we turning it back around and saying the Board of Finance will have approval? And then we would pursue the rest of the process.
so that's the question. The
Because
chronology.
we're able to pursue the process
Right.
even after we do a contract, right? Do we have
Yeah,
Yeah.
because our contract's gonna be subject to.
to a process?
Correct, correct. So we can
So
do
let's
whatever we want to do.
Yeah, so let's do the authorization and then we'll go
Okay.
through all the process and figure out.
Okay, and the contract will be subject to all those approvals.
It does, okay.
Yes. it will
Very
be.
good. All right. First off, we're back in executive session at 8, I guess it was 54 since we've been chatting on this stuff. First off, I make a motion that we approve the police contract as presented in executive session. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, I move that we authorize Dan Lee Carter as first selectman of the town of Bethel to negotiate and enter into a contract with the customer contingencies and conditions with the seller of 159 Greenwood Avenue. This authorization shall include any acts or actions reasonably necessary, including execution of contract extensions, modifications, and/or addendums, which he may deem appropriate to facilitate the purpose for which the said contract was intended. Do I have a second? Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And I don't believe there's any business.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 8:56. Thank you, Megan. It's a long
Got 'em now.